facilitate peaceful protest, facilitate democratic protest, not to impede it. And that is the concern, and that is why Defend the Right to Protest is a group that requires some great support.
At the beginning of the 19th